This is the Amp Hour Podcast, recorded December 16th, 2015. Episode 278. Our second Callin show-ish.
Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble of Contextual Electronics.
Who has not seen the new Star Wars?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Also, I did have a thing in place. I told Dave before we started the show, if he puts any spoilers in, if he gives me any spoilers, instant.
He's never talking to me again.
I'm just never talking to him again, yeah.
He's going to unfriend me on Facebook. And
the Amp Hour's over at that point. I mean, like...
Right, yep.
Just mortal enemy, yeah.
But I've seen it, and you haven't sucked in.
I am, I'm very jealous, but...
I just got back, and I actually missed the call-in show because we goofed up the time. I swear I said, finishes at 12, I'll be back at 1.
Nope.
And nope. Chris disagrees.
Yeah.
Oops. Sorry, people who are ready to be... Anyway, we might still be able to have them
we
on.
did have some people on the line, so what we're going to do is we're going to call them up, and then we'll just patch them in. Like, this is how we probably should have done it from the beginning, where we just have people lined up, and we'll call them and talk to them, and then we'll be done. So, first up, we're going to call our call screener, because he didn't get a chance. He did screen calls for us, and then
And then I didn't show up, yeah.
Right. So, we are going to call him up now. This is Stu. Hey, Stu.
Hey, Stu. How you doing?
Hi, Dave. You all right? Hi, Chris. Again?
G'day. Sorry I screwed up before. I'm sure I swear it was Chris's screw up, though.
You would.
Whereabouts are you from?
So I'm from the UK, living just outside London.
Pommy.
Yeah, indeed. The old dart.
And we've got a delay because we are on the other side of the planet, so yeah. This is why we never used Skype. Oh, we tried Skype on one of our early shows, and it was just too much delay, and it was, it's generally pretty sucky.
Yeah, I guess if you're tracking the voice halfway across the world, then yeah, it's to be expected, I guess.
Right. Well, we do have a couple. We have a couple drops too, and we'll keep working on this stuff. So, anyway, Stu. So you said you were in the the security field, right? Is that right?
Yeah. So I'm a sort of IT consultant, mostly focusing on IT security and sort of network security, system security, things like that. Yeah. So I think ended up stumbling across Dave's YouTube videos a good few years ago, and then started listening to the Amp Hour, and yeah, I think I was saying to you earlier, Chris, it's most of it goes across sort of on top of my head, but certainly really enjoy just listening and picking up what I can.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I mean, and I think that a lot of our listeners actually are kind of in a similar, like, first off, I'm always
many
from from the DEF CON side. Like when I went to DEF CON, I was just like, there's so many people that are in this field. But then when you think about it, just like the number of drops on the internet, and it's just like, yeah, there's so many places that need security and that kind of stuff. I mean, and I'm probably as oblivious in the other direction as you might be on electronics. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, certainly my electronics is very much sort of Adafruit and playing with Arduinos and stuff like that. So it's all very hacker hobbyist in my spare time sort of thing. So, but yeah, so
that's where it starts.
Yeah, got the bug, got the fever. I just need to find time to give put some more time to it. So.
Cool. Well, we do appreciate you as our call screener, even though our call screening is now over. But yeah, thanks for helping us out. We always appreciate people that help us out and support the show. Yeah, it's great.
I think certainly had a lot of enjoyment out of the show. So happy to give back what I can.
Awesome. Thanks, Stu.
All right, Stu. Well, thanks, and we know it's pretty late there, so we'll let you get going.
Yeah, it'd be like 1 a.m. there or something, wouldn't it?
Yeah, a couple plus,
5
right?
past 2.
2:05. Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Go to sleep. See you, mate.
See you. Thanks, Stu.
Bye.
Thanks.
2 a.m. That's keen.
Yeah. All right. So, call on the next one.
Hi, Chris. Hi, Dave. I'm Vikas here from Bangalore, India.
India.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Truly global show today.
Yeah, it's 7:30 in the morning here.
Oh.
Yeah, we're not sure if Stu, who we just talked to, it's 2 in the morning is any better than 7 in the morning, because he's probably waking up and he's still not going to bed. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome. So, do you have a question for us?
Yes. My question is about an arbitrary waveform generator. So I want to know how it actually works, like the internal working of it, because I'm planning to design one using a Raspberry Pi as the backend. So by my understanding, it is just a fancy and a high-speed sample player, isn't it? Like it just loads all the samples into memory and then plays it back repetitively. Is that how it is?
That's pretty much all it is. It's a high performance, high speed DAC. So there's a high performance digital to analog converter, and it literally is just playing back from the internal memory. You have the waveform stored into memory, even if it's just a basic sine wave.
Yes.
They will fill the memory up with that, an actual representation of the sine wave, and the digital will output that. All of the trick, though, with an arbitrary waveform generator is how you control the memory and segment it based on different frequencies, because you might have one waveform loaded in, and that's the representation of your sine wave, and it'll just do one cycle of the sine wave, but then you've got to repeat that. So you've got to have an architecture that can repeat it at any frequency.
Right.
But there are multiple ways to do that. Actually, you can actually, if you've got like 10 meg worth of sample memory, you can actually preload that 10 meg with a representation of the sine wave or whatever waveform you've got, and then at the frequency within that window. So you can have, if you've got 10 meg of memory and you want to generate a 10 kilohertz sine wave, then you could have 10,000 cycles of, not doing the math in my head, but you could have, say, 1,000 or 10,000
Yes,
cycles.
1,000 samples per sine wave, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, but then it's a trade-off of how many samples you have per cycle.
Right.
At
And
what
that determines
particular
resolution then
frequency.
and how
And
choppy
then
it looks, right?
Exactly, and
Yeah.
it's all. But the other but is that your output filter on the output of your DAC, because you do filter it. Otherwise, you end up physically being able to see the little steps, and you can actually do that on your oscilloscope if you put it on the output of an arbitrary waveform generator. I'm showing this on a video somewhere in the past, where if you zoom right in and actually turn the amp and then turn the gain of your scope up.
See the steps, right?
Then you can actually see the little steps, and it's also an art to filter out those steps, and
Yeah, because you have to filter it every frequency almost, right?
at
Like whatever
exactly. So there's, there's a, one school of thought, one architecture where you always run at a fixed sample rate, so that if you run at a fixed output sample rate, then what your physical output filter can be set to actually smooth that off. But so it's all about the architecture, and there's several ways to do it. It's quite difficult without sort of whiteboards and everything to
Actually,
go into.
The project what I have in mind is like I'm planning to use a Raspberry Pi as the backend, like the recently released Raspberry Pi Zero. It's actually quite ideal. So what I plan to do is load it with, it has quite a big RAM memory on it, like 512 megabytes, right? So I can load all of that with the samples, like maybe a sweep waveform.
Wow, that's heaps, yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of memory, right? So I can load it with like a frequency sweep or something like that, and then output the samples on the GPIO, and have a daughter board with the DAC and the LC filter and an amplifier with offset controls.
You could.
So,
ooh, I'm going to stop you there. That's Dave knows what I'm about to say. Is
okay.
The problem here is that so you're going to be using that's a Linux-based system, right? Because it runs the Raspbian. Often they run Raspbian and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The problem is,
it cannot do such as fast outputs, right? So I plan to use like bare metal programming, assembly level programming.
Yep.
Okay, that's good.
That might work, right?
It will, and what it'll be is a lot of DMA stuff. Honestly, I'm not sure about. I've never tried. Yeah.
Does the processor used in the ARM Zero? I'm not familiar with its actual architecture. It's an ARM something or other, right? But the exact
Broadcom
one.
chip, right?
Yeah. What you would look for there is to see whether it has, as Chris said, direct memory transfer that allows you to directly transfer from the memory without going through the processor registers, actually feed it straight to the I/O.
Right,
So,
like an A to D does as well in the
yeah.
other direction type of thing.
And this is why you don't want to mix up your pins on your I/O ports. You want to actually use bit 0 is actually bit 0 on a GPIO port, because then you've got, if you don't do that, if you just use random pins, then you have to then you have to do the heavy processing to convert the sample from the memory into whatever bits you need to drive. So that's a horrible overhead you don't want. So I'm not even sure if the Raspberry Pi Zero actually has good pinouts like that allow you to do fast outputting like that.
So Lucas, you want to do like a PWM type output? I mean, like, so what do you want to? What are you planning to send it to?
No, actually, I'm planning to design a daughter board which contains a high-speed DAC, which will take the 8-bit data from the GPIO.
You want more than 8 bits. You want more than 8 bits. 8 bits is pretty.
You mean like
lousy.
an 8-bit bus though, or an 8-bit DAC?
8-bit DAC from 8-bit samples. Like the whole dynamic range would be just 8 bits. Would that not be enough?
It's enough, but it's a pretty ordinary.
You're not going to get actual 8 on the output. That's the thing. So, like on the analog output, you won't get 8 equivalent bits. You never get.
But you'll get fairly close to it with an 8-bit.
Maybe 7. It does depend, but
it's all to do with the effective number of bits.
How fast are you planning to make this thing go? Because I mean, the 8-bit DACs, a lot of those are going up into. You can make them go like RF type range. So
yeah, no, I have chosen a part which is used for video DAC, so that goes up to 30 megahertz.
Okay.
So I think I think if 30 megahertz is a sample rate, then the output analog bandwidth might be like 5 megahertz or something, right?
Well, I would start with the 8-bit DAC, because then it's a matter of you can see how fast it all works. There's no mess, no fuss, and then once you're fairly happy with that, and then you might be able to go to a 12 or a 16-bit DAC. So,
do you have a part number that you are planning to use if you're willing to share?
Yeah, it is TLC 5602.
DLT?
TLC. It's
TLC.
It's from TI. Yeah, it's a video DAC.
Okay. Cool.
Yep, I see it. That's a 10 meg sample per second high-speed video DAC. Is that a triple? Because most of those video DACs are 3.
Oh, to get the RGB?
Like yeah, for the RGB.
No, I think this is a single one. Yeah.
It's just a single. Okay, right. Yeah, 8-bit 20 meg sample per DAC.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. What about the other one I was wondering about is, because then you're going to need something that actually drives. The DAC usually won't drive whatever you're looking at. So what?
Yeah, actually, so the DAC would be followed by an LC filter as an anti-aliasing filter, and then I'm planning to use a high-speed op-amp to do all the offset stuff and amplification stuff. So for that, I'm planning to use a LM318, which is also a high-speed op-amp, and after that, I'm planning to use a power amplifier of some sorts, which I haven't figured out yet.
Yeah. Yeah, you need a usually like you used to be able to get like buffers. You used to be able to get specific cable driving buffers, but if you're going to use an op amp, like a power op amp, which you can get, make sure it can drive an actual capacitive coax 50 ohm load, because some of them can't. They actually lose stability if you try and drive a coax load. So just be careful choosing an output buffer there. So.
Actually, I was thinking on something on the lines of doing a discrete implementation. Do you think that might be okay? Like, will it be hard?
Like a Class A/B style or what?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. An actual transistor output. You probably don't need to. I mean, if you want to do it just for old school street cred, then that's.
I actually would say. I mean, like, because even those. I mean, well, it depends what kind of range you need too, right? So that what you really think about with an arbitrary waveform generator then is, you could program in. Oh, I want this to go plus minus 10, and you could do that, but then getting a high power output, high speed, high power output op amp is going to be tough then. Yeah, so if you want to be able to set your output from plus minus 20, then you're probably going to want to go with a discrete thing. But then you just have to know that you're going to be swinging that thing around like a sack of rocks, right? That's a lot of to move it that fast and that much, especially if you have any kind of output current, it could get pretty intricate pretty quick. So.
Yeah.
And one of the problems here with only 8 bits is that you can't adjust your vertical in the sample memory. you've got to actually do it in analog on the output. So if you want a
floating
full
ground.
scale, so if you want a full scale 10 millivolt output, you're not going to do that in software because you've got no
You'd only get like 2 bits.
resolution left.
Yeah.
You only get like a couple of bits. So so you need to do that on the output. And of course, any good function generator's got to have like 10 millivolts up to 10 volts. It's got to cover that whole range. So you need not only amplifier on the output, but you also need a good attenuator as well.
Yeah,
Right.
that is
So
tricky.
you need to drive the ground around too. Like pushing grounds around is. Oh yeah.
And then if you're going to have
memories.
DC offset as well, because
that's what I
you
meant,
don't
yeah.
always a good function gen will also have DC offset. So everyone thinks all this stuff is all it's a DDS, direct digital synthesis generator. Everything's in software. Well, no, you open one of them. There's a lot of stuff on the analog output side of things. DC offset, attenuators, amplifiers. Yep, filters. Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
one thing I would say is if you want to get started with I've actually used a dev board before that has one built in. It's a STM8 Discovery.
Okay.
And it's got like one of the demos is a little arbitrary wave. Well, not really arbitrary. I mean, it's a function generator really. It's got square, triangle, and it's this great little. It's only got one button on the whole board, but yeah, it it uses the output DAX and it'll push it through DMA, so you can see how that's done in bare metal. So it's nice for the example code.
Okay.
And yeah, great little dev board.
Okay. Okay.
Have we answered your question?
Yeah. Totally
Have we
did.
ruined your day?
Yeah, I need to think about a lot of things actually. Yeah.
I think.
Awesome.
I mean,
Well, that was a
yeah, I think that's a great question. I think a good thing to do would be to hop on like Dave's forum or something, like because there's a lot of people that are doing that kind of stuff over there, and that'll be good
they'll
for tracking
talk
that
your ear
project
off.
too. Would be really good.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's the best place to do
thanks
it.
a lot, Chris and Dave. Big fan of the show.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks
See
for
ya.
being on. Well, that was a good one. Yeah.
That was an excellent one from India, all the way from India.
Yeah, man. So.
Well, basically everything from Sydney's all the way from. So,
yeah, right. Okay, so we got one more. We've had Stu, we've had Vikas, I've sent out a tweet to see if anyone wants to send us a last minute thing here. I don't know, but I'm gonna call our last pre-done call-in person.
Let's do it.
Make sure I have the right number here. This is Ryan.
And Ryan has no idea we're calling him, right?
Yeah. Hey Ryan, you won $1 million.
Hello.
Hey Ryan, it's Chris
Hey.
and Dave.
Hey, Ryan.
Oh, you got a hold of Dave? Awesome.
I did. He's here.
He did
This-
get a hold of me.
This
and
slack ass is done watching Star Wars.
Oh yeah, I checked your Twitter page and I figured that's what you might be doing.
Right. Sorry for calling you out of the blue like this, but we are live on the air now, and we thought we'd just call you on Skype. And
Yeah.
surprise!
So Ryan, you're down in Georgia, is that right?
Yes, I am.
For those like me who have no idea where Georgia is,
Southeast U.S.
North of Disney World.
Southeast.
North of Disney World.
north of Disney, north. So we're talking north of Miami here, north of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
It's the
Okay.
state above Florida.
Yes,
Right. Okay. Right. Got it.
north of Miami and south of New York.
Yeah. So you had talked to Stu, our call screener, but what did you want to ask about?
I wanted to ask about what's the best test equipment to get on a budget, because I have multimeters and a little kit oscilloscope I built myself, but I've started doing some more advanced projects like with PWM and stuff, and I find myself more and more needing like things like a 2-channel oscilloscope or a signal analyzer.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to ask, like, what's the best option for like budget, a modest budget, anyways.
Well, the first question before I jump into a monologue.
Hey, I got opinions too, man.
How much is your budget? Because like, is
Yeah, that's a good
it
question.
$200? Is it 2,000? Is it 20,000? Like what?
It's like 200 should be manageable. I watched your. I'm actually a student, so I watched your video on the digital and analog discovery and talked to my engineering teacher about it. And as it turns out,
Yes.
as it turns out, my engineering teacher was actually a beta tester for it a year ago.
Ah, okay.
Nice.
That's not bad value if you're only looking at $200 budget. Because my standard response here is just buy the Rygold DS1054Z, right? It's a 4-channel scope. It's 50 meg. You can hack it up to 100 meg. It's $389 or something.
And as I was telling a student today too, I was saying, even if you get in a pinch and you're doing a spy bus or something like that, you can self decode if you really need to. You could put 4 lines on a spy bus and self decode. So,
but it's got that built in. Like when you hack it, you get all that stuff. You get all the decoders and everything. Oh yeah.
Yes, I actually saw that.
Yeah, but that's probably double your budget. When you're talking about a budget like yours, it's like a few $100 kind of thing. It's pretty much a toss up between an old second-hand scope or something like the Analog Discovery. And
we should mention there's a new one though too, right? So
there's a new version which I have not seen. Is it the same price? Is it like $89 or $99 student price?
No, for students it's $200, I believe. So
it would be okay,
right on the nose.
Right. Okay.
It's $179.
Okay. Student price. Right.
Yeah.
Then it's probably worthwhile. I mean, it's not a real scope in quote marks. It doesn't have a real input vertical attenuator. That's one of the main problems. You know. It's but it works and it does lots of useful stuff. So there's no reason I would be stretching my budget by an extra $50. I'd be getting that, plus I'd be getting maybe an old school secondhand analog scope for $50. Don't pay more than $50 for an old school analog, but they're very handy. Although a lot of problem with students is space.
Yes.
Physical. Are you living in a dorm or something like that? That's,
I'm actually a freshman in high school, so about 15. I have a little garage workshop that I keep all my stuff in.
So you're at home with it. Oh, okay, cool.
Starting early, that's awesome. First off, that's really awesome.
So you have, excellent. And I can tell you, old school analog scopes really get the girls. The girls love old school analog scopes.
Well, especially
if you
do scope curls, you can work on the biceps, overhead scope presses.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to come over and see my just figures,
Yeah, definitely. That'd be great, but I don't know if I can.
So because you have the space, I mean, come on, Christmas is coming up. Christmas presents. What do you want for Christmas, Mum and Dad? Give me a Rygold scope, please.
Yeah.
Is that like a?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the Analog Discovery. It's it's perfectly fine as a USB scope. Yeah. It certainly has the same sort of limits.
I would say if like Dave's saying, if you can stretch your budget at all, and I know that we're saying this is like that's tough.
Yeah,
like sometimes it's a hard thing, but if you can, so here's what I'll say is like anyone that I've ever met who went and just dove in and did buy a scope, the 4-channel Ragdoll or something, or 2-channel like it used to be. I've never heard anyone be like, "Oh, I wish I've never heard buyer's remorse for scope."
Yes,
true. Like that's
Yep.
that's the main thing. Could you go through what you already do have, because you mentioned you have some stuff already?
Let's see. I have a multimeter and a nice temperature control soldering iron. It's like a rebranded Weller.
Oh, good. Yep. As long as it's temperature controlled, okay, it'll do the job.
Yeah, I have a little power supply I built from a wall wart.
Excellent. Building your own power supplies is a good way to learn and also get valuable test gear too. So, yep. Definitely keep doing that.
To be honest with you, I just sampled a bunch of regulators and put them in parallel.
Put them in parallel.
Ooh, okay. As long as they're fairly well matched, and you put a small current limiting resistor on the output and current sharing resistor on the output of each one, you'll be fine. But you'll probably get away with it. I mean, it's not good design practice, but
I was looking at the just getting an old ATX power supply from a computer or something and using that.
There's a lot of people who do that. Yep.
Yeah. That's what the bench buddy that I built was built. It was based on an ATX, but it's got a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you can just get like I think Dangerous Prototypes has just like a breakout for it, so it just puts it out to a banana clip pin. So that's a nice thing too.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
Let's see. I have a 1-channel oscilloscope that I built from a kit, like SparkFun Solstice kit.
Oh, yeah, there. Yep. Toys.
I got it
Yep.
pretty much. I was able to look at
yeah.
simple waveforms on it and stuff, but not much.
Mm.
But my school has some pretty cool stuff too. Like they have a whole electronics lab that they just recently redid, so I get to go and use that during lunch sometimes.
That's nice.
Excellent.
Like a whole ton of tech scopes and digital, analog, Fluke 87s, I believe, and a bunch of other stuff.
Ask them if they're chucking out any of those old tech analog scopes.
Yep,
Like,
I was going to say that too.
Well,
I
that's the thing. I need to ask about that because I asked my teacher, and because I was helping him clean out the back room the other day, and we found a couple interesting things, like an old ham radio and whatnot I'm trying to repair. But there was also a whole stack of analog scopes, and he said he didn't really know, and they were school property and whatnot. But I might want to ask about that.
Yeah, definitely.
So
you are in the right place. You
so
are
the thing,
in the right
first
place
off,
at the right time.
volunteering for sure.
Yep.
But what I would do is I would just say, hey, can we put a note on here? So like, just put a note with a date found. And then in 6 months, if you go back to it, you say, look, these haven't moved. No one's touched these in 6 months. Now can we make a decision? And if not, you say updated, now the new date, June, whatever. And like, just keep doing that. And eventually someone's going to be like, oh yeah, we're never, ever going to use that stuff. So.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they haven't written those off
They probably
already.
have.
I mean, well, maybe they have. I don't know, but yeah. So definitely keep hounding them about that, because the squeaky wheel gets the oil. The squeaky wheel gets the analog scope.
I actually have not gone up the chain other than my electronics teacher friend. It's a funny story. I don't actually take his class, but I went and showed him earlier this semester a little 555 timer piano schematic. I made an eagle and got a board made up and everything. And
nice.
Sometimes he gets to come during lunch, so it's pretty cool.
Well, I think you're right on the right path, man. Just keep
Nah,
doing what you're doing. Yeah. Cool. So we'll call you back in like 5 years when we're ready to retire from the amp hour. We need a new person, right?
So he's got a multimeter, he's got a power supply, he's got a soldering iron. Yeah, you really need a decent scope. Nothing beats a bench scope.
Yeah.
They're just so nice. They're just so nice, because that's the main limitation with the analog discovery. I mean, it's just got a single voltage level input. That's it, right? Single gain input. You can't. It's got no vertical attenuator. But the advantage of it is it has like a 16-bit converter or something, right? So so you can digitally zoom in on low level signals and stuff like that. Although the new one, I don't know about the new version. So maybe it's got like an attenuator on the front end for higher voltages. I don't know. But if it's got a standard 1 meg, because these things don't have BNCs on the input, do they? I think you had to, with the old one, you had to buy like a add-on board that you could plug in BNCs and regular probes.
Yeah, the new one you do too.
Oh, okay, right. Well, maybe you don't. I think that board might even be a bit expensive. So maybe you can actually like get your own front end board made up that has a BNC on it, and then you can buy standard scope probes, and then at least you've got a 10-to-1 attenuator on the front, so that you can actually measure higher voltages. Like 5 volts, 10 volts, or 20 volts. I don't know what the input of the analog discovery is.
I actually have for my toy scope a selectable attenuation probe.
Yep.
Like you can switch.
That's exactly what you want.
Between 1 and 10, and it shouldn't be. If I got an analog discovery, it shouldn't be hard to just make a BNC expansion board for it, because it's just a bunch of traces.
Easy.
Routed.
That's it. There's no circuitry. It's just a bunch of traces going to the input. Because I think the analog discovery has a standard 1 megohm input impedance, and if it does, then your scope probes, your switchable times 110 times 10 probes will work with that analog discovery. So, yeah. I would definitely look at doing that. And even you can buy a pair, like you can buy 2 switchable times 1 times 10 scope probes on eBay for like $12 delivered. They're so cheap. Yeah. Because this is actually a 2-channel scope, the analog discovery. So yeah, if you buy that and get 2 scope probes with it, there's your $200 and make up a little board, and Bob's your uncle, I think.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think you need any like guarding traces or anything like that on there, Dave? Or no? Or just have a good ground
just
plane below it?
just rock it straight in.
Yeah.
Nah, don't worry about it. She'll be right. No worries.
Do you know if the 1054Z has like a USB, not a USB host, but a USB guest, like you can hook it up to a computer and take measurements and stuff?
You certainly can, yes. The software's not that great with it. The Rigol software is a bit meh, you know. But yes, you can operate it remotely from the PC. And they've got like front panel interface software where it like duplicates the front panel, I believe. But also you can send it commands, so you can write your own software to make it, you know, to get the data out of it and stuff like that. So, yep,
Yeah.
easily.
If I
And there's
recall
a bunch of example code out there.
If I recall correctly, the scopes at my school are TBS 1062.
Oh, Tektronix basic scopes.
The crappy like
20
little like 4-inch screen, like the old gray screen.
30-year-old architecture, 2.5K of sample memory.
Yeah.
Oh, they're...
That's them.
Man, they still sell those. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
But, hey, they're perfectly usable scopes. Don't get me wrong. They're, you know, if you can lay your hands on one of those, oh, yeah, right?
Well,
that is a real scope.
The ones I saw in the back were the same ones that we have out front. They're just LG. I don't remember the model number, but they're analog and everything. I was trying to hook the 1062 up to the computer by measuring a servo signal off an Arduino.
Oh.
Interesting.
Like,
But the just remember that the Rigol 1054Z craps all over that Tektronix TBS scope. That, you know, there's chalk and cheese between them.
oh, so I've heard. Well, I mean, it was nice talking to you.
All right.
Cool.
Well, great. Thanks for calling in, Ryan.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Ryan. Keep it up, mate.
Show. Keep doing what you're doing.
Excellent. Thank you. See you, mate.
See ya.
All right.
That was great.
Yeah. 15,
There you
man.
go. There's
That's awesome.
Yeah, 15, and yep. And see, that's the idea of being. You know, people wonder, oh, how do I get an analog scope? He's doing the right things. He's not even taking the electronics class. Hasn't even got that teacher, but he's going talking to that teacher, getting in the lab, right, after school hours or whatever, and you know, and playing around, and he's in the right place. And it's people like that who get the stuff. You know?
Man. Yeah.
It's
If there's
Yep.
other ways that I've gotten gear in the past has been the junk bin.
Yep.
That's always a good one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you can get it before it goes in the junk bin,
Of
that's
course.
yep.
Yeah. No, mine was pieces that I had to put back together. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because people physically toss them in the dumpster. It's, you know,
Yeah.
when you actually have to climb into the dumpster, then people don't usually just gently place it in the dumpster. You know, it's
right. Just in case someone might want this one.
might want
Yeah.
it exactly. Yeah, no. So that's great. There we go. There were two excellent calls. That worked well. Just
Definitely.
Skype.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now what?
Now we have a regular show,
now
dude.
it's you
Come
and me,
on,
man.
Be professional.
Oh man.
Come on.
Yeah. Okay.
Mano a mano. All
Yeah.
right. Come
do
on,
this.
we've got a Reddit
We've-
list. We can talk
we've-
about Star Wars.
No, we cannot.
All right.
Anything but.
Hey, can I say a few? It is awesome. Okay, J.J. Abrams does not disappoint. This thing is freaking. It is real Star Wars.
Tempting fate here,
It
man.
is.
You.
Oh, mate, I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
Yeah.
And am I allowed to say it's like shot on real film? No,
Don't
digital rubbish.
Don't do this, man. Don't. You're towing that line. I'm just saying.
Right?
Yeah.
It's-
Don't do it.
Anyway, it's great. It's
Don't
great.
do it.
And I've seen it. You haven't. No.
Yes.
Okay, let's right. Microchip are buying Atmel.
No,
a
they're not
secret
though.
bidder.
That's the thing. So
Well,
I
they're
keep seeing
kind-
all this stuff. Like, what the hell's
What?
going on here? They were already bought, weren't they?
No, they were in negotiations, but nothing was signed apparently. And then Microchip have come in the side. And apparently, Atmel were hedging their bets. They're going, oh yeah, who was the company who was going to buy them? Bloody Dialogue.
Yeah.
Right, Dialogue. And they were going, oh yeah, okay, we'll do a deal with you. But they were still seeking. They were secretly doing also a deal on the side, showing the books to Microchip on the side as well.
Atmel,
so
you
now,
coy minx.
oh yeah, why not? You know, it's
Batting
all about the
eyelashes at
shareholders
every
and-
suitor, at every.
Yeah, right.
Oh my!
Come and check my book. I'll open my book.
Hello, boys.
Check out my book.
What do you? I mean, I don't really care. I mean, like
All right. Well, this is not the
prediction.
first
Eventually,
time.
they all make ARM processors.
Well, Microchip tried to buy Atmel years ago, and Atmel blocked it through a
like
shareholder thing.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a hostile takeover. Microchip tried to buy all the shares and did do a hostile takeover, but they lost. So, yeah.
No, I mean, what do you think about it personally? I mean, you use PIC stuff before. You've used Atmel
yeah,
stuff before.
I've used both PIC and Atmel. I use them
it seemed like
almost
people-
interchangeably.
People on the subreddit were not very happy about this.
Oh, right. Well, who? Was it the Microchip fanboys or the Atmel fanboys?
Yeah, I think it was Atmel.
The Atmel fanboys, of course, yeah.
I don't think it's fanboys, but it's just people with... I mean, that's the thing. Like, I think most people pick one or the other, right? So I don't do micros normally, so I don't know.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, big companies get bigger.
Yeah, well, but there's going to be like massive overlap there. That's the thing,
Well, would there though? Okay, you got to figure is Atmel gonna would they just kill product lines? That's things like this don't make sense to me because they're so similar. Like I would think the dialogue by them makes sense.
Atmel don't get a say in it, right? Oh yeah, like dialogue probably makes more sense for them to buy it. But let's assume that Microchip buys them, right? Because that's the more interesting thing, right? If Microchip buy them, there's huge overlap. I mean, they're both like top 5 in the 8-bit micro market. I don't know where Microchip sits in the 32-bit market with their PIC32, but they do have a loyal customer base with their PIC32, and you can bet your bottom dollar the PIC32 management group don't want to get their ass canned, right? Because they don't want Microchip to switch to ARM, right? Which of course Atmel have some ARM, some fairly decent ARM processors.
Yeah, they're doing that SAM20D thing, right? That's their
all those they're used in low power calculators, and they're used in other. I don't think they've really got a. Oh no, they do have like a fairly decent grunty high power, which Microchip don't have. Their PIC32 is nice, but it's not really out there competing with the high end ARMs. Last time I looked, anyway. But there's going to be lots of internal management groups. It'll be group infighting. There'll be fist fights in the canteen. When they merge, it was like just. It'd be funny to watch, actually. But somebody's got to go. I cannot see Microchip buying Atmel and just not eventually trimming the fat.
Well, okay. So here's the
somewhere.
same thing that I'm going to say the same thing that I said with Freescale, but I was totally wrong about them too. I don't get why there's such. I get it and I don't get it. Like, so I get that everybody is asking for ARM chips, and yet, so like, Microchip has the PIC line, and it's very successful over time. Maybe it's not keeping up or anything like that, but like, even just as a point of differentiation, like, we're not making ARM, we're making something else. Like, I don't get like, and so Freescale had that too with the Coldfire line, and they had the Core IQ stuff, and like. And now, like, Freescale is so hardcore in the ARM stuff, and it's just I just feel like it's very short-sighted. Like, it feels like it's just a management decision because it feels like, oh, well, we're going to chase this trend right now, and also we get to save money because ARM's doing all of our research for us. And it's like, yeah, you jackass, but that also means that everybody else gets that same thing as well. Like, I said the exact same thing. Remember when Analog Devices said that, oh, we're not going to be doing new... I mean, it wasn't all... They weren't canning all of their new analog process stuff, but they were basically like
some of the older ones.
Yeah, no, they said like we're going to let TSMC take develop and then take our analog develop the analog technology, like the actual fab stuff, and it's like that is your frigging competitive advantage. Like of all of these, that's the thing I don't get. Like all of these frigging MBAs. Like, do they skip that part? I get the part where they want profit. Cool, awesome. Everybody likes money. Great. Did you skip that part where like a differentiating factor in a marketplace? Is it like, does no one pay attention to that anymore? Is it like, no, we all want to be ARM processor, makers. It's fine.
Well, they did, because like when I spoke to Steve Sanghi, the CEO of Microchip, like 5 years ago, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, how long ago was
said
it?
exactly that.
Yeah.
We don't want to get into ARM because you've got to pay the ARM tax, right? And there's no point of differentiation. There's no money in it, ultimately, right? And ultimately, it's a losing bet. And you can see that these days with the cost of ARMs. These ARM processors just keep dropping to where they're 50 cents are almost free, right? And it's like you can't make a sustainable business out of that, or not with as many players as we have now. So,
right. Well, I mean, like, I am sympathetic on some of these things, right? So, like ARM stuff, they're like, well, everything is dropping in price, so we have to chase that trend, so we get some piece of what's left. Okay,
Right.
fine. You want to say that? That's fine. Yeah, you could say that, but knowingly that you're gonna not, your revenues might look like they go up, but yeah, over time you're just gonna get eaten by some fab who just goes straight to ARM and makes some variant. Fine. Then the same thing goes with fab technologies. Like fabs are super expensive, so they're all cut and running, and then they say, oh well, we'll go to TSMC or we'll go to UMC or anyone who's making stuff as like a foundry business, and that's fine too. But you have to know, like, so maybe for micros that makes sense, but for the analog people, it's like, guys, that's all you have left. There is nothing else.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't buy it based on how pretty your logo is. Maybe supply stuff, but like not like I don't know. It's just maybe there's some piece that I don't understand here, and I'm sure there is, but I don't.
You would have to look through the entire portfolios of Microchip and Atmel to see where the overlaps are, and maybe. Microchip want to keep running the ARMs separate, maybe hedge their bets, right? Oh, yeah, okay, we don't have to pay to develop ARM. Bam, we're ready to go. We've got stock. If we buy Atmel, we're buying their client base as well, right? Yeah. So they might continue to sell those ARM chips, and if they don't perform, then they might just chop them off later.
Yeah.
Right? But,
but like in any other growth situation, too, it's like, yeah, you're getting bigger. That's good for the bottom line, survival and stuff like that. But like the thing that it feels like they never do is they don't take into account the business they're going to lose from their current customers. So someone who's been buying PIC chips, so I think like Voya and just people that do PIC stuff. They're like PIC fanboys. Like you always say fanboys, right?
Yeah.
Like that's all they know, and it starts to threaten that group, then you start to lose business from the group that you thought was going to be stable. It's like... Yeah, right. It's like, oh, we'll just add this little thing over here, and then...
Well, all I know is that Microchip aren't stupid, and they've already... And now this is their second attempt to buy Atmel, so there's got to be something in it for them, and you probably don't know unless you audit Atmel's books and, you know all about the internal politics and stuff. So anyway, I don't know.
I don't either.
What would our audience prefer? Dialogue by Atmel or Microchip by Atmel? Or maybe somebody else will come in to save the day? Yeah, exactly. Maybe. What do you reckon, Chris? We've got enough cred. What do you reckon? We can go out there.
We can go raise some money, Dave?
Raise some money, venture capital, maybe a crowdfunding campaign, and we can buy Atmel. What do you think?
I wouldn't buy Atmel. Sorry. I like the people I know at Atmel. I like Atmel, but like, come on, man. It was all retrospective. They're like, oh yeah, no, we were part of the Arduino thing. Yeah, no, we're totally into this now. Like, do you remember at the beginning? It's like, no, they didn't give a crap at all. And it's like now it's like, oh well, it's marketing channel. Yeah, that's great.
But they still don't. And a lot of people keep saying this. Oh, Atmel is so valuable because of the Arduino. It's nothing.
No.
It's nothing. It wouldn't even register on the balance sheet of.
Well, I don't know about that. Maybe,
but like hardly. It'd just be a speck in the ocean.
I think the thing with that is like, okay, so it's a process that it's an 8-bit micro that they've done nothing to since I don't even know when that was made. The 90s, the 2000s. I don't know when the 328 came out, but like, okay, they're not developing new stuff for it. Fine, and it's just like when you talk about like new customers coming in, though. Good God, like. Every high school kid now at least has seen an Atmel chip, but probably one of the first ones they've seen. So
yeah,
that's worth something. Like from the marketing perspective.
Only if you're a long-term clever thinker, which a lot of these people aren't. They're looking for the next 6 month, half-yearly report. That's all they care about.
That's a problem no matter where you go. But
exactly.
Yeah, public companies are tough like that. So
anyway.
Yes.
We've got comments down below. Let us know what you think about the Microchip Atmel thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Next.
Yeah. What about, speaking of companies that are in weird places, what about Jerry and Rick over at Cast AR? I saw you posted this.
I added this because because I backed their.
Oh, you did? Good.
I backed their project, their Kickstarter project.
I thought I bought like a cup of coffee or something. I didn't get an email though.
I bought a I don't know what level I backed at, but I backed it somehow. So I get the updates, and but the update's freely available on their site. It's not just for us backers. And basically, it's been over 2 years. I think they finished in October 2 years ago. So it's been over 2 years, and they basically have not delivered. Although I think they delivered the early backer starter kits, which was like 10 of them or something. Don't quote me on this.
Yeah, no, they have gotten some.
They've delivered
some
something,
of the developer
but basically,
stuff.
but basically the bulk of the backers who just wanted their Cast AR glasses, they basically have not delivered. And in the meantime, they've, of course, taken on capital funding. I can't remember who it was. They took on money from somebody. Playground, whoever the hell they are.
So that's the started by Andy Rubin and crud. I forgot the other guy's name. Bob? I don't remember. Anyways, Andy was the one who started Android. So.
Right, yep. Anyway, so the interesting part about this is because Jerry and what's his name?
Rick.
Her cohort. Rick, yes, thank you. Sorry, Rick. If he's listening, probably is.
Probably isn't.
No. They got too much time on not enough time on their hands to listen to our show. Anyway, they always wanted to make a business, and that was what Kickstarter's traditionally all about, right? They wanted to build a big business, not necessarily just make some glasses and ship them, right? They were building a company, and that's what they wanted the money for. And so they've ultimately decided now, this update, you can read it for yourself, they've decided that, we're not really going to deliver our original promise to our Kickstarter backers. What we're going to do is focus on a real high-end, like a proper polished consumer product.
Yeah, I was just say it's not high-end. It's not high-end.
Well, no, well, yeah, okay. So we're focusing on a consumer product, right? Yes. A real slick consumer product. And you'll get one of those when we've done it. But we're not going to rush out and finish some half-assed... I'm not quoting them properly, but we're not going to finish some half-assed product just to ship it to backers to keep them happy.
Well, yeah, and so Rick also wrote about the, there's no software for it yet either. So this stuff's going out to developers, and it's been slow. But
there's no apps. There's no...
And so if you're
and they're saying...
Yeah, if you're a backer and you're interested in it, you're going to get this thing. It's going to be like, yeah, now what, So,
but
yeah, that's interesting.
It's a real interesting decision. Because, it's a conflict. Like, you want to deliver to your backers, right? But then you also wanted to form a company and have a nice, finished, polished product, and you probably can't focus on both. So they've had to make the decision to go for broke with the polished consumer product. And I think they are offering money back or something. They're saying something about a refund. So you can choose. I think as a backer, you can choose to get a refund hang in there for a... No?
No. So
I'm wrong?
If you backed at the hardware level, you get a refund, and then you also will get a coupon for one.
Oh, you also get a coupon.
set of
Yes, that's right. So they're being extra generous. So
Yeah.
they're giving you your money back, and you'll get a free consumer one when it comes out.
Yep, exactly.
So that's pretty generous. But it's basically failing to deliver, essentially. So they've made the choice that, sorry, but we're not going to deliver what we promised.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's...
But they're not taking the money and running. This is quite a good deal, because you get your money back and get a consumer version. So
I think this is a nice new standard if this becomes a thing.
It is a very nice way out.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it is a very nice out.
Right.
Very, very generous. And so it should be, because they've got a lot of funding now, right? And so obviously they've decided to use some of that funding to refund the backers, because obviously after 2 years of development, they've already spent all of the money that they got from the backers. That's almost a given.
Well, now's the point in the show when Chris mentions that it is Kickstarter and there's no should in there, right? These people, anyone who gave money knew the risk that it might not happen. And I mean, even with, we've had Jerry on the show a lot. It's still possible that something could have happened. It's hardware. It's, so no, I don't think they should have done anything. It's very nice that they did, but, and I hope this is a new standard, but yeah, I don't think that this is no, I mean.
Oh, well, no, if they didn't deliver, they should, I'm going to use the word should, they should have given the money back, right? Especially when they've got outside funding, they should have given their money, but they've done more than that. They're giving you your money back and giving you a free, 3 consumer one when it's done.
I just don't agree with should, but that's fine.
What?
We can differ on that. That's fine. Yeah, we can totally. It's a difference of opinion. Yeah, no, really, we can.
I thought it was the Kickstarter terms and conditions. If you cannot deliver your promised rewards, you will do your best to refund people their money. Well, it's in the terms and conditions.
Sure, I'm sure that there's a lot of there's not like you can't go after them for a lawsuit though. You know what I mean? Like it's like your name would be not pretty.
Yeah, but of course, but come on, you can't.
Dave, I'm just saying that it's different than should. It's good that this happened. This is the best scenario of a bad scenario. That's what I think.
No, I think this one. Okay, if they've spent the money, okay, and the
Dave's
money's
ready
all
to go
gone.
to the mat over verbiage here. All right.
Yep. Right.
Here we go. Dial in our lawyer. We can call up a lawyer. Do we have a lawyer? We don't have a lawyer.
If they've spent the money, then there's no money left. Well, sorry, everyone lost their money. Right? It's a loser. But they got venture capital funding, right? So which puts them in the should category, okay? Because they've got all this outside funding, then they've got money again, and if they've got money, they should refund their backers if they're not going to deliver. Because that is the Kickstarter terms and conditions.
Disagree still. I think that you could string people along and say, we're going to deliver, it's just going to be longer.
No, of course you could. Yeah. Of course you could, right? But then they'd be dishonest and everything else. And of course, they're not dishonest, right? It's
I'm going to do an experiment here, Dave.
What?
I disagree with you, and I'm done talking about this.
Dude.
Shall it pass?
Why?
Will we be able to move on? Can we move on? No?
Wuss?
No, I'm not a wuss.
You just don't want to take me on.
No, it's not taking you on, Dave. I disagree with you. I'm not going to change your mind. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, okay. Let's move on. Did you see speaking of
probably
video
not. I've
video
been too
games.
busy watching Star Wars. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Did you, the Steam controller, the video of the Steam controller? So,
no.
It's a YouTube video. And so Valve.
Speaking of Jerry, that was a good
Jerry
segue,
Valve,
by the way.
And basically, so people we know are working on this controller still, and
yes, yeah, we do. They're still there, which I'm surprised.
And there's parts made of the world, but basically they show that it's assembled in Illinois, and they show all of the industrial automation of like the button. So actually, they show it being pulled off the mold.
That's the one that you tweeted.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
I had no idea that was the Steam one. I thought that was like an Xbox controller or something.
No, that's a Steam controller. And so then they have robots that are testing the. I mean, sorry,
that's
I was
awesome.
corrected. They're not robots. Sophie, who helped who set up the SuperCon, she said it's only a robot if you don't know what it's going to do. So this is a.
That's a good.
Which is awesome, right? I was like,
line in the sand definition.
Yeah, exactly. So this is industrial control because it's a single use.
It's an industrial robot, is their traditional name.
I don't know what the So
that's their name. I've known them for 30 years.
Yeah, I don't know how it goes.
Industrial robot.
Yeah. So this, but basically they're all single use arms and levers and all this other stuff.
Oh yeah, no, they're all purpose design.
Yeah. And it's a symphony. I mean, like, and the video making too is just really.
Oh yeah, the video making is first rate. Yeah, that is awesome. They spent a lot of money making that video.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. But also they're assembling.
They most likely hired an external company to come in and shoot it.
Yeah,
and
but they're assembling in the U.S., which is also interesting, right?
Awesome.
I mean, like that's not. So first off, when I watched it, we've talked about robots a lot on here. I talk about robots a lot. You always scoff. This is the kind of thing where, okay, so watching these things be assembled, right? These controllers, they're basically, they're putting in the plastic coating for buttons. They're testing out the little thingy dingies, and
thingy dingies.
Yeah, like the little touchpad thingies. Like this would be a factory in China, right? This would be people. The robots, they're made of people.
And once you've put the NRE for something like this in,
yeah,
it is super. It is runs
and then
much
you crank
leaner,
it,
much
right?
more
Exactly.
efficient.
It's all upfront cost, and then it's you go.
Yep.
And then
I wonder.
Yeah, go ahead.
I wonder how they made that choice. Like, how many of these, because they would have had to come back from sales and marketing and go, we can guarantee we can sell 10 million of these controllers, right? And then the boffins go away and they, punch their calculator keys and they come back and say, yep, it's cheaper to
that would
spend
be
$10 million to automate this factory,
Well, and this is the future, though. I mean, this is the new deciding point, right? Where it's like, okay, yeah, and you're right, it's based on volume. It's
there's
based on
nothing
taxes.
new here, dude. This is not magically new.
No. What the new part
this is business 101 for the last 30 years.
No, the new part is the changing labor rates in China, the continual increase in labor rates in China, right? And the amount of factory space you might need to
Have
spin it
you
up,
seen
stuff like that.
my interview with the Siglant CEO?
Yeah, exactly. That's what
Eric
I'm thinking
Quinn.
of.
Yeah,
He talks about that.
Yeah,
I think
he
you mentioned it last
confirmed that,
week.
yes, it's a big problem for them.
Yeah.
Just in the last couple of years,
Yep.
three years, I think he said, wages have doubled in China. Not only factory production workers, but engineers have more than doubled as well.
Yeah.
So, everything's, and, you can probably expect them to double in another couple of years. There's, the growth hasn't stopped there, I don't think. Their wages growth hasn't stopped.
Yeah, you have people trying new things and just the continuing costs of ever denser cities too, right? You think about people moving to a town and the real estate prices go up, so the labor rates go up to match and that kind of thing, and then you got the whole.
So why Illinois? Illinois is cheap backwater. Is it? Illinois. Sorry to all the
no. So
Illinois,
that's where Chicago is.
I never hear about anything being made in Illinois.
So Chicago's in Illinois, but the real thing is
right.
A lot.
Yeah,
of,
but where? Right? Is it out in the sticks? Of
Probably,
Illinois,
yeah. So
right.
I didn't remember what the town was, but actually there's a ton, literally a ton of residual stuff, because if you had a Motorola phone in the late 90s, it was made in Illinois. I mean, that's the thing.
Right.
Motorola is from Chicago. That's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So and so there's. So I have a friend who's a guy here. He's living here now, but he used to be a purchasing agent out there, and at Motorola, and he would just and they had local fabs and everything like that too. And he would just be placing orders for 10 million boards at a time, kind of thing. Can you imagine signing that friggin' contract?
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah. Just phone up casually.
That was
like
his
to order 10
entire
million,
job. Was just PCBs.
Right.
That's it.
Wow.
And I don't think it was just him either. So
have Steam done a Tesla and gone around the country and go, right, where is an empty factory that and in a town that will give us, and a state that'll give us fantastic, tax rates and they're so desperate to have jobs back there that will get it for practically free,
Well, Illinois is not usually known for its its upfront business practices. Almost every mayor of Chicago is it? No, sorry. The governor of Illinois always goes to jail. It's there's long string of governors going to jail. So it's really. I think it's the governors. Maybe it's I think it's the governors. There's just
hilarious.
So much corruption.
What a politician actually goes to jail?
Yeah.
Have I entered an alternate timeline?
This is the PSW timeline, post Star Wars.
PSW.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Where they've abolished all lawyers. Is that the one?
There's balance has been brought to the force, Dave.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're right, and I think that
awesome.
chasing that kind of and honestly, a lot of that kind of stuff. When you look at the setup, so much of that is talent, right? When you think about you need machine
talent,
builders.
Yep.
You could have someone that's doing an actuator that is going to do 10 million, 100 million, a billion touches on something, and it needs to work the whole time. But if you pay that up front, same thing. If it works great, if you can optimize that out, you can. So we've talked probably before, maybe we haven't. Dark factories, right? That's kind of that is the manufacturing dream where you You turn on the thing, it's crank them out. I think we've mentioned it. You turn on,
and you don't. No, I don't think so. And you don't even have to turn the lights on because they're they're so reliable that.
Right.
Well, why even, spend money powering the lights because there's no one there.
Right. Yeah, and the only time you ever need anything is if there's like a interruption or something like that.
But real factories do not work like that. It's just impossible. It's just impossible.
Even in a fab, it was which is like I think one of the pinnacles of automation. Like it's just it's still you're going to have issues. You're going to have. Honestly, some of the problem is the humans get in the way. But
okay,
you ever been hit by a foop?
What's a foop?
A foop is what holds the wafers. Front opening unifying pod.
Or is foop the sound it makes when it whacks them on the head? Is it
exactly right?
Right.
That's when they slide you in the body bag after you've been conked out.
Right. Yeah. Foop. Well, those wafers are razor sharp. You could lop somebody's head off with one of those puppies. Jeez, just imagine the paperwork involved in that.
Oh yeah.
Wow. No.
Foop. That's fun. It's a fun word to type too. I got to say, I'm just writing it on our list here.
Oh goodness.
What is the last? We probably are running down out of time. No, actually, I'm going to tell you what I want to talk about. Did you? I found this link on Hacker News. I'm not sure if this is like why someone posted it, but I thought it was hilarious. I can't sign into Google Calendar on my Samsung refrigerator. So it's on the Google support forums, right?
Right.
And it's a thing. I have a Samsung RF blah 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 refrigerator, and the app's been working great, but now I can't do it. And it's like, oh, we're in the future.
And it's like and the first response is like, your fridge needs a software update to use the new API. It's like, we have entered an alternate reality.
Exactly.
It's like,
IoT, folks.
Oh, God.
Internet of stupidity.
Although I can imagine, because, like, the fridge is traditionally the center point of the house. It's, like, it's where people are going to hang around the most, and it's where you put your calendar. Like, we've got the calendar on the fridge that must be obeyed. I've got a wife that must be obeyed, and the calendar on the fridge is like the holy grail. Oh, yeah, and she makes the calendar.
Can you get her to put the amp hour on there?
And if it's on the calendar, and of course when and of course when I ultimately forget something, go right, Saturday, what are we doing today? Look at the fridge. You didn't know that. Blah blah.
Right.
Like,
the API isn't working. Yeah, that's that's a good. Actually, that is a good point, though. Yeah, no, that's true.
So, hence, I can understand why building, an internet terminal into the fridge door. So that.
Yeah, I guess it makes more sense than it's just a screen. It's just a screen bolted on. You could just as easily
screen. Yeah,
exactly. Glue a tablet to it, right?
You could. You wouldn't have to use a glue. You could have magnets and.
Oh yeah, good point.
Yep.
Yep. Fridges and magnets. You and your technology.
Yep. But then how do you recharge the thing? You got to have,
U-beam. Sorry. No, I don't want to go there. I didn't say it. Editing that out.
Have you seen my U-beam infographic?
No, don't. Please don't. I don't want to talk about it. Oh my God.
Why?
I get so angry, Dave.
I like my U-beam infographic.
Dave, I get so angry. That's the problem. Like, it's so frustrating. I shouldn't have said it. See, I know these things. They fly out of my mouth. They go, whoop.
Yep.
Okay. Two other things. One is this telematics. No one liked this one on Reddit, but I thought it was really fascinating. Telematics to track workers' every move. Basically, UPS has been. So this is kind of on the robot thing as well. But they're tracking so much stuff in a UPS van, which is a delivery van here. Like what do you call it?
That's fine.
No. Yep. But you call it something different than post, though. You call it.
No.
Anyway.
No.
So they measure everything though. Is the seatbelt clicked? Is how long did they take on a bathroom break? Like did they lift properly?
Right.
So this is like the sensor output, right? So and what's really happening is it's getting to the point where it's ignoring that these drivers are human, right?
Human. I was going to say that. Yeah.
And so what do you do, right? Obviously,
I just need to take a break. Like, I've been driving all day. I need to get out and stretch my legs.
Yeah. There is some very legitimate stuff here, and what it really comes down to. So another thing, kind of going back to the China talking about labor thing, like So this is going to be a huge on the path to. I'm kind of quoting my own tweets here, but this is stupid. But on the path towards like full roboticism, right? Like everything being robotic. We talk about like Amazon delivery with like drones or those little automated cars and stuff like that. On the path to that is something like this, like totally censored, totally using a lot of sensors. That is, tons of measurement and big data, blah 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 blah. It's buzzword. But there's going to be tons of labor disputes in there. Like another example is right now, I tap a button on my phone, a car shows up with a human driving it, and I don't talk to them, and then I get out of the car, and then it just automatically pays. That's Uber, right? Like,
right.
And
what? You don't talk to the person?
You don't have to.
Seriously?
Sometimes I'm on the phone. I mean, usually I do, but I don't have to.
You rude bastard.
Sometimes I'm doing
something. The person.
Sometimes I'm doing work, Dave. I have a difficult. No,
Bloody hell.
I'm on Reddit. Come on. Sometimes I have a lot of Reddit stuff to read to put on our list. Anyways, but the idea is like the people that are there that's the people that are going to be replaced by self-driving cars if that ever comes to fruition, right? And at some point they're going to be like, hey, wait a second, this is a job. I like this job. I want to keep this job. Like everything where it goes from that automation point of like app and humans to eventually like app and robot is like there's tons of labor dispute coming there, and it's going to be weird, right? So even like going back to the Steam controller, it just leapfrogged that and it just said nope, full automation, full robotic automation, right? And but imagine if they would have started with humans assembling and then eventually they replace it, then there would have been all this strife. And so that might end up impacting. So what the idea is that between the automation point and the robotic point, there's tons of strife. And I think it's the 21st century labor dispute is going to be based on, that.
Robot wars.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be like, I don't think it'll be the level of the Luddites, like that was, they went and destroyed all the looms because the looms were the
right.
automation of the day. But I don't think it'll be like that. But there's going to be something going on there. It's crazy, man. So I maintain, start building robots, folks. It's the only job in the future. Yeah.
No, I think there'll be a niche market there for taxi drivers who actually want to talk to you.
What about what's the one in Total Recall?
Johnny Cab. Johnny Cab. Welcome to Johnny Cab.
Yeah. That bobbly head. Yeah.
How's your day?
The other thing I wanted to mention.
Sorry, no, it was a hell of a day, isn't it?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's what he says. Yeah. Yep. We will have to make that the graphic for today's Amp
like
Hour,
that.
where Arnold Schwarzenegger is like choking Johnny Cab or whatever.
Cab. Yeah.
Yep. If we can find that image.
Yeah. Okay. Did you see the thing about
we're done.
plastic?
We're done.
Plastic chips?
Plastic what?
Plastic
chips. Oh, come on. Yes, I did see it.
Yeah. I don't really agree with this yet. I think that the molecular imprints folks are interesting, but I don't think that that's the way forward. I don't know if you know what that is. It's basically like a stamp, basically.
Yep.
I don't think that's the way.
No. Yep. Even you admit you're at your.
No. I think it's coming. I just don't think that's. No. I think that what makes the stamp then? That's the idea. Is like.
Right. Yeah.
That. I mean, maybe that's etched or something. I don't actually know how they make the actual stamp itself. But the idea. So the idea we're talking about is that they put down this liquid with like an inkjet, and then to get the additional resolution, they use a physical means, which is the stamp. So it's this molecular imprints does they press it down, and then that fills these little divots and yada 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 yada. But like the idea, like even if it's that small, how do you maintain those divots over like multiple impressions, right? That would be the tough part.
Right.
So I don't think that would be what it was. I like it that it's like the whole idea of like,
no, it's cool. Yeah.
Well, no. I mean like the difference. So a lot of people when they talk about like printing chips or just kind of printed technologies, they always do rastered, right? So like scanning across with lines, and they might do laser ablation, stuff like that. That's just never going to work because it's too slow, right? That's the difference between like a FDM 3D printer versus an SLA one. SLA, you just single shot, poof. It just no, some of those raster, I guess.
Yeah, no, it does.
What's one that doesn't raster?
No, I don't know.
There's some that don't raster. They just do a single shot. And
right, okay.
The single shot always goes faster because Yeah, the resolution's harder to get.
Parallel.
Yeah, exactly. It's parallel versus serial. Exactly right. So,
Yeah.
I'll keep
Can we
holding out.
stop talking about chip printers?
Getting
Can
nervous.
we actually get back to what matters? That I've seen Star Wars and you haven't.
I think we have a more important thing, and it's actually back to the Steam controller. Next week, are you ready for this?
Yep.
Jeff Kaiser returns to the show.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Ha ha. Well, I think this is going to be the second year straight that he will be on our Christmas adjacent show. So I like it. I like this as a trend. So,
All right. See you then.
Yeah, man. See you then. I'm excited.
Bye. This isn't nearly as smooth as the app
it's
we
not.
were using.
But it's cheaper too. I mean, that's the other thing. We were sitting on when we were sitting waiting. It was charging us, man.
Yeah, but we've got money for that.
I
That's
know.
why we've got Patreon.
I know.
Patreon
But
supporters.
I was telling a friend the other day. I was
Tight
like,
ass.
no, I know. I was telling a friend the other day. I was like, it's a totally new experience. Paying for phone calls.
Right.
Totally new old experience.